What is autism? Autism is a lifelong developmental disability that affects how people perceive the world and interact with others. There are around 700,000 autistic people in the UK, which amounts to more than 1 in 100. Those with autism can struggle with things that people without the disorder find simple.
Socialising is one of their biggest problems. So partly that's because they find it really hard to block out background noise. So if an autistic person is talking to you one-to-one, depending on their age, because they learn as they grow up. So if they're talking to you one-to-one, they only have to focus on you. But then if somebody else joins that conversation, they've got two voices to focus on. And then if somebody else joins that conversation, that becomes muddled because there's too many people to focus on and listen to. Because language can be a difficulty as well. Where we have like a filing system in our brains that you learn words and they're filed away and we don't even have to think about it, that word will come forward when we need it and we'll use it. A lot of autistic people file away the word but then can't find it and retrieve it to have that conversation.
Body language, that can be an example. Someone might sort of express something and so far you only follow the words of people, but they may be saying something else with their body language, so like a person with Asperger's or autism may not be able to decipher from that. Tentatively, if I've got so many things going on in my mind, at some point I just have to shut down and sit there, just do nothing, be spaced out. I have to be. And when that happens, it's just like a burnout in a way. And also sometimes dealing with stress, I have to be in another room or away from people because sometimes it does get a bit loud or it just feels intense and there's too many people around me, so I have to get out of the room, just relax for a few moments.
Ability to read social situations, that's really the key thing. Trying to figure out what goes on in a dialogue. And whereas a normal person, if you tell them, don't be an idiot, that's not the way to do it. Most people would then understand, it's like, you're not calling me an idiot. It's like we just need to do something in a different way. Whereas someone with Asperger's will think, well, why do you call me an idiot? Do you think I'm stupid? And they will then continue to mull over that for a long period of time. And then you get to a point where a lot of these things, they just continue to accumulate. And then after a period of time, something very, very trivial might happen. But that then just causes a complete shutdown. So you will have a proper meltdown in that sense, and that can take hours or even days to get out of. The challenge is to be able to recognize these things and then allow Douglas to decompress so you don't end up in that situation. But that also changes as he's been getting older and more aware of the situation. He can kind of self-monitor in very different ways.
Those with autism tend to struggle in social situations. Through online gaming, it has made it easier to socialise with others.
Yeah, I'd say that it's quite... I can't speak for everyone, but for me personally, it's quite easy to talk with someone online because you don't necessarily have to look at them. You don't really need to pay attention to them. All you need to do is just listen slightly. You could be doing something else entirely and you would still listen to their day without ever bothering to make eye contact with them.
I do, yes. Particularly, it's why I play World of Warcraft, and a lot of the people I am socialising, without having... It's easier because I'm not having to look at them or maintain eye contact or anything like that. And sometimes some of the people I meet also have autism, so that makes it easier as well.
Being on the autism spectrum can have its positive effects. In late 2018, Anne Hegarty brought national attention to autism when discussing her condition on the popular reality show I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. Through having ASD, it can lead to such things as strong attention to detail, exceptional concentration, high intelligence, all of which help further the careers of people such as Stanley Kubrick, Susan Boyle, and even Albert Einstein.
If you take away the social side of it, they've got the same strengths and weaknesses as anybody else. So some are really good at maths, some are really good at English. Maths, science and IT are the most common things that an autistic person is good at, and that's because they're formulas and there's an ending to it. So you know there's always going to be an answer in maths.
As I said, I actually absorb a lot of information, so that's one of the positive traits I'd consider, the fact that I take in stuff like history, can absorb it and sort of like remember it and that. And you find that that's one advantage some people with autism actually have, is that they can just be single-minded and focus on something until they've completed it.
Well, some of the good traits with Asperger's, I think it's focus, which sounds very strange because part of his challenge is the ability to focus, but it isn't a general ability to focus. If Douglas is not interested in something, he won't engage. He is wholly uninterested. It's like, no, forget it. Just a matter of finding those things that you do enjoy and leverage that as a strength.
I've worked in special school where we had a couple of savant autistics. Savant autistics are the type of autistics that have got like a photographic memory. And so one of our students his mathematical skills were beyond anything you can imagine. And so we would go in the supermarket, because in special school they do a lot of life skills rather than academic. So they're able to live their lives independently. So this boy would go to Tesco's with me, and we'd go around the shops and he would add up everything that I'd put in the basket. And when we got there, he would tell me exactly how much it was going to come to, and then he would tell me exactly how much change I was going to get when I gave the money, and he was always correct, and he could do numbers like you wouldn't believe.
It helps in the workplace, because all people with autism can make really good workers, because you can ask them to do something and they will do it to the latter, but you need to make sure, like at the end of, like, you need to get this done, but you need to tell them when they have to stop, or else they will keep doing it until they've got the task done.
In a survey I conducted, 88% of people have said they have met someone with autism. However, over half said they couldn't describe the disorder. This is why we need to continue to spread awareness.
I think it does help to bring awareness, just so people know how to just treat us and approach us. Know that we might get a bit anxious around people we've never met before, and that might find it difficult to socialise with them.
We still have no idea what causes it. Some scientists think it's something to do with the brain, others think it's something to do with genetics, and others think it's just comes naturally through other reasons. But I do think it's important to like spread the word, how like this can affect a lot of people's lives.
With the awareness of autism, it definitely has helped people, it's brought awareness in such a good way that, there's been lesser sort of cases of discrimination against it, and we still do need to bring awareness and fight against discrimination. So for everyone, rather, because it is key. We are people as well, so we matter.
I think it's extremely important because it's not a disorder. Even though it's called autism spectrum disorder, I don't think it is a disorder. I mean, there's no such thing as a normal person. We all have different traits and quirks and everything else. I think it's more about kind of tolerance and understanding and allowing that flexibility in your mindset when you're engaging new people.
If you would like to help transform the lives of those with the disorder, visit www.autism.org.uk/get involved to find out the many ways you can help.